boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Love this quote from Brené Brown. Hello, Limitless family. Thank you so much for coming back on this Monday Live. I'm so glad you're here because today we're getting into the one that every single parent wrestles with. We're talking about parenting this whole month, and we started with being a model. 2 weeks ago, we chose kind over nice. Are you a kind parent or are you a nice parent? And if you don't know what that means, go back to my YouTube channel and watch it. Last week, we learned the power of showing up fully. And today, I want to bring those two together in the hardest, most misunderstood part of parenting, and that is discipline. So drop in the chat if you've ever disciplined your child and then you lay awake that night wondering if you got this right. Be honest. That's not a failure. That's family. That's love. That's asking the questions. So here's the question that keeps us up. How do I hold a line and keep the boundary? How do I correct my child without actually crushing them? Today I want to cover 3 things. The first one is boundaries that are actually love, not punishment. The second, connection comes before correction, always. And I'll explain what that means. And number 3, real discipline methods that you actually can use without yelling, without shaming, just discipline. So let's grow together and let's talk about that. I want to start with key point number 1, boundaries. And boundaries are actually love. Let's reframe the whole thing. Somewhere along the way, we started to believe that discipline means punishment. That a boundary is something that we do to a child. And that's wrong. Because a boundary isn't a wall you put up against your child. A boundary is a railing that you build around your child. Picture a bridge with no railing. That's actually terrifying, right? You would crawl across on your hand and knees. Now at the railing, suddenly you can walk. You can even run on that bridge. The railing didn't take your freedom. It actually made your freedom feel safe. Now let's reuse that analogy. That's what your boundary does to your child. Your no tells them limits exist. They are survivable. And my love does not disappear when you are disciplined. And here's the truth that surprises many people. Kids feel safer with boundaries, not without boundaries. A child with no limits isn't actually free. Those children become anxious. They are running the household, and deep down, they know they are not equipped to. The boundary is the container. Inside of that container, they can fall apart and still know that you're standing firm. So think about that. The child who is allowed to do anything isn't actually a happy child. They are a child searching for the edge, testing harder and harder just to find something solid to lean on. Your boundary is that solid thing. It's not the opposite of love. Your boundary is actually love. So here's the second point that I want to discuss today. Connection before correction. And that's the hardest thing that you would do, but that is a game changer. So really write it down. Remember that. Connection first, correction second. In that exact order. every single time. A child cannot learn from you while they are flooded, when they are in a meltdown, when they're screaming, crying, raging. The thinking part of their brain is completely offline at that point. So, lecturing a child that is already in a moment like that is actually not going to work. It's like trying to teach someone to swim while they're actually drowning. It's not going to work. It cannot work. You cannot reason with a child in a storm. First, you bring them to a shore. So the order is, first, you regulate yourself. You calm. When you are calm, that's the most powerful tool that you can give to your child. Take a breath, drop your shoulders, calm down, because a regulated parent creates a regulated child. And the reactive parent creates reactive children. You're actually pouring gas on the fire. So once you're calm, that's when you start connecting. Connection is saying, I'm here. I can see that you're really upset. You're not in trouble for having those big feelings. You're not excusing the behavior by saying it. You're just calming the brain so it actually receives what comes next. And then, only then, once they come down, you start correcting. You start teaching and guiding. Now let's create a scenario. Let's say your son threw his controller after losing a game. Our instinct right away is to jump straight ahead and start giving lectures, taking it away, starting punishing. But instead, take a moment and say, that was so frustrating and I get it. Let that storm pass before you start disciplining. And then, only after your child is calm, say it. Throwing the remote was not okay. What can we do next time when you're mad? Same lesson. But now there's a brain that is actually online and is ready to receive it. Kids reflect when they feel safe. They never reflect when they feel shamed, because shame makes a child, defend themselves. Safety makes a child look at themselves. That's a huge difference. So connect before you correct, and say it back to yourself every time you go through a scenario, because that's a game changer in every home. And the key point number 3 is real discipline, because real discipline methods that we're used to may not be the right one. And I want to give you a couple that actually work, because I'm sure you came here to get some tools. So I want to give you those tools, the methods that actually work. Write it down, because that can take place of yelling. Yelling at your children does not help. There are different things that you can do. First, what works for me is natural consequence. And I know it's so hard for so many people, so many parents, because it really hurts us inside, because we know what's going to happen. But when it's safe, let the reality be the teacher. If your child refuses to put a coat and you know it's cold outside, they will feel cold. Let them. And I know it hurts us as parents because we know the consequence, but natural consequences are better than our lectures. If your child doesn't want to eat dinner, let them feel hungry before bed. Don't give in when they want to eat now just before bedtime. You don't have to be the villain. Life delivers the lessons, and it sticks far better than any speech will ever stick. Number 2 that you can do is logical consequences. When natural consequences don't work, make the consequences connected, respectful, and reasonable. If a child marked on the wall and drew on the wall, the logical consequence is start cleaning it. It's not a random punishment. It's a logical consequence of a certain behavior. So, in a calm way, give them something to clean with. Worked for my children. Each of them only colored on a wall once. Never again. They had to scrape it off. Number three that you can do, and that's important for those parents that love the timeout, time in, not time out. Instead of sending your child away to sit alone with that feeling that's really too big for them, bring them closer. Sit with them through that feeling. You're actually not rewarding the tantrum. You're teaching them how to come back to stay calm. And that is a skill they will need to use for life. Time out only works when those children are small. Once they grow, if they haven't learned the skill of what it takes to sit down with those feelings together, teach them the life skill. The next one is the do-over. That came out unkind. Do you want to try again? That's a sentence you can use. You can give them a clean chance to actually practice the right thing on the spot. Because kids don't learn behavior from being told once. They learn it from repetition. The do-overs is a repetition with grace. And the last strategy that works for me, repair over punishment. When they mess up, don't rush to the consequences. Walk them through fixing it. Walk them through what happened and how can we make it better next time. That's the real accountability. That's where accountability is born, not through shame, through repair. So what do you do if two of your children are fighting over a toy? The way we're used to is just snatch it and send each one to their room. Everybody's now upset. Everybody's now in a bad mood. What do we do instead? Take that toy and say the toy needs a break until you two decide how to play. And I absolutely promise you, the two of them will sit and negotiate a way that they can actually both work on it, both play with it. That's not punishment. That's a life skill you're teaching them. And here's the one that heals generation. When you mess up, when you snap, when you are too harsh and you want to repair, it is not shameful to tell your child, I'm so sorry I raised my voice. That was not okay. I love you and I am working on it. That apology doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you a model. That's the model they will follow. It teaches your child way more than 100 perfect days will ever teach. That people who love you own their mistakes. There's no shame in saying, I'm sorry. And that's the blueprint that they'll carry over in every relationship for the rest of their life. So let's put this to work. I want you all to try this week because it's not easy. Parenting doesn't come with license. We don't know what the right strategy is, but learn, grow yourself, make yourself better every day because repairing a relationship is still possible. So here's the challenge for you this week. The next time correction is needed, don't reach for the yell. That's the easy way out. Reach for the one tool from the 5 I just gave you. Regulate, connect, and only then guide. And if you own a repair, make it this week. Watch what it does to your home. If you own an apology to your child, there's no shame in that. Just say it. And parents, discipline builds character at home, but your child also needs a place to build their skill and confidence out in the world. And that's what we do at Exceed Learning Center. Come see us because we teach life skills for kids, teens, and adults. And if you have a teen, send them our way. Our book club teaches so many different life skills. We raise leaders and thinkers. We build the skill of public speaking so your child can stand, speak, and be heard. We strengthen their writing. And whether they're struggling or already thriving, we get them ready for the year ahead because there's always room for growth. Always. And next Monday, as we close our parenting month and we look outward to friendship, to belonging, and to the world that your child carries all of it into. And it opens the door to what I'm going to do in August. In August, we're going to talk about social life. You don't want to miss that. So come again and see how I'll connect that next month to the social month. Limitless family, I really appreciate you guys being here with me, listening, because discipline with love is not an easy road. But it's the one that raises a child who is strong, secure, and safe enough to become exactly who they're meant to be. Hold the line. Keep the bond. You can do both. That's the whole art of boundaries. If this spoke to you, share it. Tag a parent who actually needs to hear this. And send me the repair that you're going to make. I'll be right here cheering on for you. Stay limitless. See you all next Monday.